Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the most important new release of the year. If you don't believe me, just look at the sales charts. It's a new BMW GS. And after BMW said that the 800cc GS in the 80s was enough, now, 40 years later, we have a 1300cc GS. And as you can see by the new looks, BMW has come a long way. The previously famed wonky headlights and other assembled shapes have been replaced with a giant LED X. And of course, everything else is new, including the motor.
When I first started riding this bike, I kind of thought it feels a little bit dull. I mean, 2 weeks ago I rode a 1250 GS, and that was explosive, and I was kind of expecting this to be a lot more explosive, but I opened the throttle a bit and sort of, there you see, it comes on gently, gently, gently. So when you open the throttle a bit, it's very gentle. However, if you open the throttle a lot, this happens. Whoa! Whoa! So yeah, when you open the throttle full, a lot happens. You go forward very quickly.
And that has to do with the new engine. As it says on the box, it's exactly 1300 cc's of liquid-cooled boxer twin, coupled with BMW's variable valve lift technology that boosts the power from 136 horsepower on the 1250 to 145 on this one. More so, the torque goes from 143 Newton meters to 149. Much of this new throttle response is down to the mapping of the ride-by-wire throttle. But it also has to do with the new cylinders that have much bigger bores but shorter strokes, meaning the power is shifted higher on the rev range and makes the lower revs more docile.
So what is nice is that when you want to open the throttle a bit, it is gentle, it is like a kitten. So it's kind of more modulated. So a little bit of throttle is sort of smoother, more gentle, more sort of easy to ride. And full throttle is full on maniac. It's definitely more fast than the previous GS. I know when I had the 1250, a friend of mine had one of these, and we did do a drag race, and he won by a long way.
But it's not just the engine that's new, everything is new.
It feels smaller than the 1250, which is sort of weird. It's sort of, some of it is some kind of an optical illusion because it feels slimmer. There's less, like the previous bike, the tank is sort of over here somewhere. And there's just sort of a lot more room, a lot more space, a lot more everything. It feels smaller. Although when I try and put my foot down, I suspect it's actually slightly taller.
The tallness could be attributed to the rally seat on this, the GS Trophy version of the 1300. But the slimmer part is all true.
However, it does feel lighter. You toss it into corners. There we go. Gives a much lighter feeling. Then you open the throttle and a lot happens.
It feels lighter because, quite frankly, it is lighter. 12 kilograms lighter, bringing the tally down to 237 kilograms. But it's not just the overall weight that contributes to this feeling of lightness. In the motor, the gearbox has been moved from behind the cylinders to under them, making the entire motorcycle more compact. There's a new steel frame with improved rigidity, and the suspension, especially the new telelever suspension up front, is both more compact and lighter. And it seems to work when looking after the rider's old bones.
It is comfortable, but I mean the previous GS was comfortable too. This one has a lot more room kind of here, sort of especially there. Gentlemen, you know what I mean, there's a lot of room there. There's going to be there's going to be none of that. I like the screen, it's got a new, so it's not electronically adjustable, but the previous screen used to have this like twist thing over there. This one, it's got a little lever, watch it. There we go, sport mode, unsport mode. Why not?
And that adjustment makes a big difference. When it's up, you're cruising with hardly a breeze hitting your helmet. When it's down, it feels like you're riding a naked bike. So as we said, everything is entirely new, except for one aspect, and we're grateful of that.
I see the switches and the dash are almost exactly the same as the previous GS, which is not a bad thing. I mean, the previous GS had a really good dash, really good switches, but it is very good news for many GS owners whose teenage children have only just finished teaching them how the previous GS worked. So good news! It's all still here.
The electronics are all there, every kind of electronic bit of wizardry you can think of. But as far as the dash and the buttons go, there's one little difference that's rather good.
Now when you're going into the off-road section, what is very nice is that there's sort of an options button over here that you can press. You can tune what you want that button to do. At the moment I've got it set on the traction control. So you push it, there we go, it sees traction control on, you hold it down, traction control is off. And the difference between this bike on the tar and on the dirt is that when you open the throttle on the dirt, oh, not that much forward happens. A bit of forward, but not a lot. A lot of kind of sideways squiggly. Oh, yeah. It's fun. Scary, but fun. I would put knobbly tires if you want to do, or knobbly air tires if you want to do a lot of off-road on this thing, because, yeah. They don't put on bike standard because knobbly tires don't last very long on the tar. And when you go at high speed, they tend to fall apart. And the Germans, for some reason, think that's dangerous. Don't know why.
And of course, more compactness and 12 kilograms off the scale definitely makes itself known on the rough stuff.
Again, on the dirt, this GS feels smaller. Kinda, I don't know, it might just be psychological, but it does feel nimbler. Maybe it's just because I'm seeing less GS in front of me, whereas the previous one, there were tons of GS. I might have said it has the frontal surface area of an ocean liner. This isn't an ocean liner. I mean, it's still big. It's, you know, it's a tugboat or a barge or something, but not an ocean liner. Definitely not.
That's all good, as long as you are vertical.
Problems, well, something that concerns me a little bit is that they put indicators, these very sleek looking indicators, in the handguards. It looks cool, looks very cool, very kind of, again, classy, executive. The problem is that the handguards are guards. They're meant to protect. They help stop breaking levers and things when the bike falls over. They protect you from branches and thorns and all sorts of things. So they are there for protection, they're guards. But the thing about it is that guards should be fairly disposable. You should, you know, when you fall over and scratch them, you should be able to quite easily throw the old one away and put a new one there. But now that there's indicators in there, I haven't confirmed the price yet, but I imagine the price will go up if there's an indicator there. That means it's not that disposable. Well, that's like a little niggle. Otherwise, just don't fall over. Easy peasy.
So this bike is lighter, faster, better handling, and better looking. But that's not all BMW are offering. There's how it makes you feel.
This bike feels more refined than the previous GS. It feels slightly better put together. It feels smoother. It looks slightly better put together. There's more sort of craftsmanship gone into the kind of looks, which is a bit sad because, as I said, with the 1250, it's gone quite a bit away from the previous GS looks, from like the 1100 until the 1250. It's gone quite a long way from that, but it looks sleeker. It looks sort of streamlined. It looks like it should be like some sort of greyhound running with a giant cross for eyes and eye. And it does feel very, very well made together. Very, very classy. Very, very everything. Very executive. I suppose that's how you should feel when you ride a BMW. It's an executive motorcycle.
And everything is for sale for a base price of 355,000 Rand, which is actually a lot less than we were expecting when BMW first announced the 1300. And that's good news. What's even better is that the 1300 GS seems to continue a new BMW philosophy, one we in South Africa especially have been asking for some time.
What I'm enjoying about BMW these days is that their bikes are getting more and more entertaining. And this one, as I say, is a modulated sort of entertainment, so you could cruise along like, yeah, I'm cruising on a dirt road. And I'm just cruising along, I'm having a great time. And the bike's working well. And it's very, very smooth, very, very comfortable, everything's very put together. But then if, my inner 13-year-old jumps up and says, go on, do it, then I can change down on a gearbox, on a quick shifter gearbox, and if I'm honest, it's still a little bit clunky, but it's not too bad. Anyway, I can change down, I can open the throttle. See, the 40-year-old in me is happy, as is the 13-year-old. It caters for both. That's quite a party trick. I could do that all day. I prefer my 13-year-old.
Before we go, a big thank you to BMW Motorrad Westrand, who moved mountains so that we could film this bike. They're in a newly built dealership that looks more like a BMW palace than a shop. I'd go have a look if I were you.